Good evening and welcome. This is my daily Facebook Live / broadcast, since I might put this on YouTube later on. And I thought I'd play with a different topic tonight. But let me begin by starting with my introduction as usual. My name is Barry Selby. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert, helping strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. I'm also a passionate champion of the divine feminine. And this is my ongoing daily Facebook Live series called Messages from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart. It's number 244. So I've got lots under my belt so far. And this one I'm going to talk about, as it just hit me as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about tonight, because that's usually how it works, to speak to the topic of games, particularly the dating games. And this is not my area of necessarily of strong expertise, as I don't do date. I'm not a dating coach. I'm a relationship coach. And a lot of my learnings and then the teachings, because I learn and then teach and pass them on, can be improved upon if you start at the beginning with the right intention in mind. So I'm going to play with some things and let you take these in and see if you like them or not. If you do, great. You want to put comments below, you can do that. If you want to share this out with friends, you can do that as well. This is my daily invitation, inspiration, and education. We'll see. Let's try this out, shall we? So, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, and appreciate any comments and thoughts you put below, questions as well. I'll happily answer them as you go along. If you're watching this in the replay, you can put questions and stuff below. I'll answer them later on, because I'll be signed off at that point. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also comment there. So, are you done with playing games? And here's how. That was kind of what I put as the title. So let me break this down a bit more. What's become so evident, and of course this is not news to anybody, so I know you already know this, is that most people, when they go on their first dates, they don't tell the truth. Let's be blunt about this, shall we? Most people, and I'm using people meaning both men and women, because it's not one side or the other, it's everybody, tend to hold back on who they are early on. And I would venture to say there's an error in approach. Because if you're someone who values your time, to withhold truth, to not speak what you're about, and to drag things out, as it were, without knowing what's going on with your future prospective partner, is not a good use of your time. Pure and simple. So what to do? Here's what I'm thinking about, and I was sitting with an answer before I had the question, really, in a way, was, wouldn't it be cool if, and maybe it won't be to you, but to me it feels interesting, that when you go out on your next date, first date, if it is your first date, or if it's the second one, if you just started dating somebody, if it's early enough in the conversation, this is relevant. If you're already 3 years in, this may be too late for you. Although it might still play out if you haven't done this already. I hope you already have. Is to be upfront with your intentions. Be upfront with your feelings. Be upfront with how you want to proceed. Even on the first meetup. And I talked about this last week. I was talking about this and I got reminded last night with a friend of mine, that I recommend if you're going on, when you meet someone the first time, especially if it's on a dating site, dating app, something like that, first thing is a phone call. The first thing is you want to hear their voice so you get a sense of their personality before you even meet them. Because their pictures could be fake, their profile could be fake, but their voice ideally would be real. So first thing is a phone call. Second thing is you plan to meet up and you have a first meeting. This is not the first date. A first meeting, which is a daytime social connection, coffee shop, ice cream, whatever it works for you, but daytime in a public place, so you both have the feeling that you're safe to walk away. Not being picked up in the car, or picking the other person up in the car, not going to a restaurant the first date, because that's gold digging sometimes. So my suggestion is, if you're meeting someone the first time, this is the sequence I would recommend as a appropriate way to do it. And I'll get to the other piece in a minute, which is about the game piece, which we'll take out. So again, if it's a dating app type person you've met versus, and well, actually no, it doesn't matter how you meet the person. If you don't meet the person in person right up front, like it's a friend of yours puts you in touch with a friend of theirs they think you'll be a good match for, or using a matchmaker service, or you're on a dating app, dating site, etc., etc. Typing back and forward is great. It's not anything like communicating. If you know about what's the word I'm looking for? It's the way that communication is made up. Our words that we say are less than 7% of our communication. 7% of our communication. The rest of it's made up with the sound of our voice, the tonality, the timbre, the tempo, that's the 3 T's, the facial expression, body language, etc. That's the majority of our expression. So if you're typing something in, there's not much room to communicate. So you're not getting the whole picture across. So a phone call at least expands it slightly, because you get to know the timbre, tempo, etc. Meet them in person, much better. You get to know the facial expressions, body language. You see more of who they are by how they present themselves. So again, phone call as soon as you can. Find a time to arrange to meet. Make it a daytime, safe, public environment where you can both walk away if you need to, and make it a cheap one, to be fair. And maybe just pay your own way. If you like each other, then you can plan a first date. That can be romantic and the whole bit in 9 yards. But at least you've now got a building block to start from. So let's bring in the piece about the game playing, since that's what this particular broadcast is really about, because that was recap from another broadcast from last week. When you meet somebody, it's tempting to withhold who you are because you want to make sure you trust them. Totally understandable. The problem is most people don't stop doing that. They keep going with that, holding back, for several dates, several weeks, several months even, before they actually let the walls down. By which time it could be too late, in the sense that you may go, oh crap, it's not what I wanted. Wouldn't it be better if the first time you meet, before your first date, yes, right then, a first daytime meeting, you speak your truth. You share about what's going on. Right, I have to get my glasses because I can't read this stuff this time of night now. What are you saying, Florentine? What about if you meet someone across country, you talked on the phone for months, the first casual coffee date is a bit of a trek. Do you still keep it up to just coffee? Ah, that's a good... That's... Well, Florentine, that would be... Got me going there. Let me just say this on that, in the sense that long-distance relationships don't fit into this conversation in this particular context, although some parts of it you can take into that. So let me finish this piece up first, and if I have an insight along the way, which does sometimes happen, I'll answer your question more directly. Okay? So back to the game piece. What if your first meeting in person? Now, if it's long distance, this could be over the phone. Yeah, it could be over the phone. I'm just checking inside for alignment with that one. Well, you speak about your truth. If you meet somebody online and you like them, why do you like them? Be willing to be that blunt, that vulnerable, that naked to them, to share them with them how it is you see them and what attracted you to them in the first place. Maybe it was the fact that they put down a very silly quote in their profile, if that's where you're looking, or the way they smile in the pictures, or maybe it's because the kids they have, if they have kids. It could be any number of things, but we're willing to tell the truth before your first date, on that first meeting. And again, this is local, not long distance. I'll get to that one in a moment if I think of something that fits into that answer for you. By doing so, first of all, as we all have lots of things to do in our time, and our time is valuable, you don't waste time. You get to know what you really want, you know? Sorry, I see you, Vivian, writing comments here. What you're saying. Have they met face-to-face via Zoom or Skype? I think that would influence my actions to Florentine's question. Actually, that's a good point. In this modern technology time, we do, in fact, have video calling, not just voice call. So to Vivian's statement, in answer to Florentine's question, I think there's an answer there. That's a good start. So yes, it is challenging to have a first date when you're long distance, but if you do it by doing a Skype, Zoom, or a FaceTime video, or Facebook video, I think you do Facebook Messenger videos, you can communicate that way too. It's not the most graceful, smooth carrier of signal, but at least you get to see the other person in motion and moving, so that's a good idea. Thank you, Vivian. That was good. I like it. I might steal that later on, another time. So getting back to where I think I was, using your time wisely when you go on dates seems to me a smart move. That simple. Because when you do that, you get to have more enjoyment in your dates. You get to have more dates if you're looking for looking to people. And once you know you've got an alignment, you can go deep really quickly. That brings me to a whole other topic which I'm not bringing in here because that's not relevant. Sorry, I did some of that phrasing fits another conversation which I'm... No, not now. This is always fun to do. So, let me distill this down to bottom line, because I want to keep this short. These are my broadcasts usually about 10, 15 minutes at most. Sometimes longer, but usually shorter. So I want to keep this succinct, distilled, so you can take value from it and go about your day, or your evening, or your night. Communicate as soon as you can by phone. Again, local. And if you're long distance, you do the phone as well. Second part is to have a face-to-face meeting before your first date that is an introduction. It's like a formal introduction before you have a real date. Public place, daytime, or Zoom or Skype as an option for long distance. Thank you for that one, Viv, again. And then, with that understanding happening, that level you come clear, then you can move into the first date. But again, on that initial meeting, so we say, before you, I don't want to call it yet, I'll come up with a fancy name at some point, but it's the pre-date. There's a word. The pre-date, the time you meet before you go on your first date. That's the time to get clear what you want. You may put it in a profile, but it's incomplete. Because when you talk about things, you add things and you expand on what you're thinking about. So, there's a whole other conversation coming out here. Okay, so yeah, this is the thing. Your first meeting could be a more fleshed out profile of who you are to the other person, and vice versa for them to you. So by having the chance to meet before your first date, by having this pre-date, this first meeting, is a chance to really get clear about what you want. And it gets rid of the games, because when you're being transparent and honest, there ain't no games. Your presence, your interaction comes from a much more authentic, whole place. And I did a talk last week. I talked about this, I think, about like mature dating, as in like you're not dating like a teenager anymore. This is part of that. This will be added to that in a way. So my invitation to you, my recommendation to you, my suggestion to you, even if you're going on dates, if you're single doing that sort of thing, is get clear up front what you want, of course. That's part of my work I do in my coaching. But then when you go on your pre-date, your first meeting, which I recommend you do before your first date, you really get clear inside what you want to bring to the conversation and what you want to receive from the conversation. What really do you want to communicate? Do you want to tell them what you're looking for? You can do that. Basically, when it comes to this pre-date, there are no rules in terms of what you're supposed to present. It's not a formal thing where you can only answer 3 questions. It's different from your dating profile. You can talk about religion, politics, because frankly, if you're going to date somebody, you want to get clear about the religious choices and their spirit and their political choices early. Otherwise, you can end up being in a big fight, especially lately. It's good to know what those things are. Yeah, I just saw a friend's post on Facebook that was so opposite mine, and I didn't know that was his view, so it kind of shocked me. So imagine being in a relationship with somebody like that and not knowing that was a totally different viewpoint. So up front, get clear about these things. Find out what it is you really want. I should say, own what you really want and find out what they're looking for and see if it fits. Then you can actually save time and save money by not going on big dates if it doesn't line up. But then be more comfortable stepping into a first date, because then you can play with the romance. In a lot of ways, that pre-date, I'm talking about this first meeting, is the before romance step. I should copyright that. Whatever I'm going to call it. So that's my suggestion. So this is one way of starting to play games. There's plenty of other ways to start playing games, which is basically being on the same level, deeper into a relationship, which is being transparent and honest wherever you are in a relationship. If it's the first date or your 10th year, the more transparent, honest, and truthful you can be about everything, especially owning the languaging. That's the other part, by the way. Well, it's a sidebar into the 10 years. If you've been together for a long time, it's tempting to keep judging the other person. It is, trust me. I've got friends of mine who've gone through that a lot. If you can be willing to step up to your own communication to say, what's true for me is, how I feel about this is, it takes the onus off the other person, gives you ownership, and stops any judgments and blame and resentment happening. These are advanced relationship skills, by the way. I'm trying to think which book I got some of this stuff from. It's from my teachings I learned from as well. And I think it's in my book too. I have to remember, there's 50 principles, so they move around. So the reminder here is be willing to be upfront at the beginning. Be willing to be truthful, transparent, honest all the way through. And be willing to say no when it's the right time to say no. That's another piece, by the way. Thank you. I knew there was another piece coming through. For many people, being nice is more important than being right. Sorry, being nice is more important than saying no. Or being right versus being happy. These are diametrically opposed ideas. It's better if you say no early on, to take care of yourself and honor that, than to play along and suffer and not get what you want. That's part of the games again. If you don't step up to say what's true for you and say no when it's right, then you're playing a game with them or yourself, and it's not appropriate. Now, in the context of the Me Too Time's Up conversation and what's been happening, a lot of sexual harassment, that's a much bigger topic than I'm going to bring on here. I talked about that one last week. Yeah, that went deep a few times. However, any level of not being aligned, not being clear, and being willing to say no is healthy. Being willing to say no is a healthy practice. Even if it means that you want something else instead with the same person. You can say no to one thing, say something else. It's not about no to the whole thing. So it's being willing to be honest. Again, it's all about self-honesty and truth, and being true to yourself, not truth, be true to yourself, and being transparent so you can be seen and be heard. That is your homework. I'm realizing that I came to the end of that statement pretty clearly. And I'm like, that's it. That's the completion. So, quick recap, if I can remember everything I said. You know what? I'm not going to do that. You have to go back and watch the replay. I don't have in my head the sequence I spoke because it came through me, so I don't have all the details. But you know what it was. If you're watching, if you're just joining in late, please watch from the beginning. This is number 244 daily Facebook Live I've been doing of these talks about masculine and feminine polarity, relationships, health in relationship, authentic connection, intimacy, etc., etc. It's kind of my offering. They are all on my business page on Facebook, so you can find them all there together versus my personal page has other stuff as well. And if you want to find me on my website, there's tons of content on my website, which is barryselby.com, and including the video blog, which is the page where all of these live. Although I may be changing that shortly. I may be making it into a proper blog. We'll see. I've got some ideas brewing. If you need help in the area of relationship, romance, and that sort of thing, please reach out to me on social media or go to my website and click on the Let's Chat navigation choice. So, let's read that. 244, yes. Thank you, Viv. Yes, they were weekly up until May. And then my coach inspired me to do 30 days in a row, and I kept going. So, yes, 30. 30 days in a row, and I'm now at 244, so that's something like 210. I know I got a Facebook memory came up on Sunday of a year ago. I did number 9. So this is number 244. So yeah, it's been quite a run. And they keep coming. I have content every day, it seems. And I have a fresh shirt to wear, so I'd look like I'm doing something different every day, not the same broadcast. So that was a total internal voice coming out for that moment. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, please put them below. I'll answer them when I sign off. If you need any help, reach out to me. And I invite you to take care of yourself. I invite you to put yourself first in your life, in your relationships, and in your choices. Because nobody else can do it for you. That's up to you. And with that, I wish you well. Have a great evening. I'll see you again tomorrow with another daily Facebook Live. I'm not sure when I'll do it. If you want to find out when I go live again, somewhere on my profile, I think you can click on either on this video or on my Facebook profile, you can click on notify me when I go live. Because that'd be much easier. Because frankly, to be honest, I don't have a fixed time. It's every day, but last night was at 11:45 p.m. because I got back from a late event. Other days it's 4:30 in the afternoon. So if you want to watch my broadcasts, catch them then. Okay. I have to these things again. Florentine, thank you. That was exactly what I needed to hear. This message was meant for me. Florentine, you're absolutely welcome. And anybody else who got value, it's my honor, my pleasure to serve. I'm glad I did this. Thank you. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I appreciate the feedback. So take care of yourselves again. You deserve it. You are worthy of it. And nobody's going to take care of you as good as you can take care of yourself. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye.